Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a Sims 4 speed build. We are going to absolutely ignore the fact that this video starts well late into the build. Yours truly definitely didn't lose the first set of footage to this. It's fine. We're doing another sort of antique I don't know what you call it, antique building build in Copperdale. We're doing another, like, this would have been a commercial building, maybe a warehouse kind of situation, turned into something different. The idea behind this one is, it is on the downstairs, it is a gallery for an artist with her artist or his artist studio, and sort of the entrance to their upper floor. We'll call it an apartment, but that's not. An apartment to me always sort of indicates like maybe it's multiples in a building. This is just one, so they live over the top of their gallery. And I kind of thought this would be nice for a sim. You could actually do this with photography too. I set it up for a painter, but you could absolutely do this for photography, or trying to think what else. I think there's some other, you could change the whole downstairs to sell whatever your sim makes. You could make it flowers, you could make it food, you could have like a food stall downstairs, however you wanted to do it. There's lots of options. I set it up for a sim because I kind of thought the vibe was right for a gallery, a painter sim. And then upstairs, it is technically 2-bedroom, 1 bath, but I do have the second bedroom because it is small, set up as an office. Both bedrooms are pretty small. The bathroom is actually relatively large for what it is. Originally I was going to put a bathtub in, and then I decided against it, and I'm not really sure why. I've been thinking a lot lately about going back and doing shorts on YouTube of things I would change in builds, because sometimes when I'm editing and watching these back with you, I go, why did I make that choice? That is a fascinating choice. Why did I make that choice? And just recently I downloaded a build of mine to use in a personal save because I have a witch who has a growing family, and I thought, it'd be really fun. It'd be really fun to put that Second Empire house that I built eons ago, I think in 2021 maybe, to have her live in that. And then I pulled it down and I went, this was really cool. I could do so much different with this now because it's been so long. And so that's what sort of started this idea of like, well, what if I started changing this out? So let me know what you think of that idea. If you would like to see shorts of me basically like retrofitting my old builds, or shorts of other things too. I don't really understand shorts, so if someone can explain them to me, that would be great. I understand like what they are, but I don't understand how to think about making content for them, if that makes, I don't know. Regardless, we're doing the kitchen now. The gallery doesn't get a lot of attention because basically it's blank until your sim starts painting things. And the studio downstairs gets a little bit of attention near the end, so we'll go back down there in a bit. But, and I am sorry I lost the beginning footage to that, but all you really missed was me fighting with the walls and then realizing I needed to actually figure out a layout. There is a really cute little turret on this build, and I love it, and I don't know if it fits super well in the world, but I don't care because I love it. It turned out really cool, and it is actually loosely based on a building in my town, very loosely based because the building is much different in my town. But I was looking at it the other day, actually on my birthday dinner, birthday lunch. We went to a little cafe, and across the street was this really cool building that someone had definitely turned into like a gallery with a house over the top. And I was like, that is the coolest thing. And my dad actually casually mentioned, he was like, if you ever had to move into town for some reason, that's where I would imagine you living, like that kind of vibe where you're like over the top of a business and it's just like a quiet little apartment. And I was like, yeah, I feel like the horses would be unhappy. And he kind of laughed at me. He was like, well, the horses would still live on the farm. This would be if you had to move. Like if I needed like better Wi-Fi or I don't really know why I would move into town. I guess if maybe work mandated I had to move into town, but I would be pretty upset if work mandated it. They would have to pay me a lot more. They would have to pay me so much more money because I'd have to drive out to see my sweet horses every day, multiple times a day. I'm pretty happy living on a farm. Anyways, back to the build. I got really like kind of infatuated with this idea of this like warehouse turned into something else, or this like commercial space turned into something else, and so I built it, and I really like the way this turned out, and I think it fits. Copperdale is kind of an interesting world because it kind of has the small town vibes that some of the towns around where I live have. I will say it's a little bit more foresty than where I live. I live in the high desert, so I have a little bit more like grown-up Wild West town vibes where I live. Like my city has a little bit more of like the, wider, might walk down the street kind of vibe. But Copperdale gets close in that it has a lot of like brick buildings, a lot of the pretty old architecture, a lot of like people trying to keep up old buildings kind of thing going on. So I do love to build these kind of builds in Copperdale. I find it really fun. Although this build initially started in San Myshuno, was where I had planned to build it. San Myshuno is kind of interesting though, because it simultaneously has some of that like old brickwork and stuff, and it also feels a lot more modern. It feels like a much newer city. And I just got my hands on Lovestruck, and I haven't played a ton in the city yet, but I am already loving how bright and beautiful that world is. I have never been to Mexico City. I have never been to Mexico, so I cannot speak to the authenticity. I hope they did a good job, because I love that little town. I've only gotten to play for a few hours. I'm recording this on the 26th, and I played for like 5 hours yesterday, which was a lot considering I had stuff I should have been adulting and doing. Okay, full disclosure there, I got a phone call in the middle of this, and kind of an important one, so I don't remember exactly what I was talking about. Sorry about that. I usually mute my phone, but I have do not disturb on, but I have certain family members who never call me, so they're allowed to call me because they only ever call me when things are on fire, and nothing's on fire, we're okay. But I got a call from them, and I was like, oh boy, I should answer this. So please bear with me. I didn't mean to completely lose my train of thought. I'm trying to remember offhand what I was saying. Oh, I believe I was talking about the Lovestruck world, and I was saying that I really hope it is accurate, because it is really beautiful, and I hope it isn't offending anyone, but I think it's absolutely so gorgeous. It's so bright. I haven't explored it a ton yet. I made a sim, and I'm not really doing super rag searches, but I'm just definitely doing sort of like the intended, like, building up the career, building up the bank account. She has a dog. Her name is Delilah. I'm in love with Delilah, of course. And I was like almost thinking about doing a playthrough on the channel, but the thing is I'm very much let the game decide for me what's going to happen. I don't really create like pre-made stories and stuff, so I'm always very curious how that would work, because I feel like it would get pretty boring. But, you know, maybe we'll do like a short, like, maybe I'll start doing like singular videos where it's like, let's goof around with the sim, and then I'll give you guys the sim. Like, instead of just doing cast videos, because I haven't done those in a really long time, because personally I didn't find them enjoyable to make or edit. But I think maybe it would be a little bit more enjoyable if, like, I made them and then played with them for a little bit. Let's chew on that idea. Let me know what y'all think of that. I have so many ideas. It's just a matter of, like, finding the time to do them all. Which is story of everyone's life, right? Oh my goodness. Back to the build here, you can see I did a very blue bathroom, and it's actually kind of an empty bathroom, but it does mean you could put a bathtub in here if you ended up bringing a dog in here. I didn't build, or cat. Can you bathe cats? I mean, in real life, I know you can bathe cats. I know you're not really supposed to bathe cats very often because you strip them of their natural oils and they're supposed to take care of that themselves, but sometimes you have to bathe a cat because they start smelling like poops, or like they have fleas or whatever. Like, sometimes that happens. I don't own cats. Well, I do. I own 2 cats, but they're barn cats, and one is currently MIA, but I'm very hopeful she comes back. She's making me very nervous. She's never disappeared before, and she's disappeared for quite a while, and I understand the implications of that, but I refuse to acknowledge it, because I did have a barn cat one time. Well, it wasn't my barn cat, but the barn I worked at had a barn cat disappear for a year, and we were all like, welp. And then she came back, and she was like, I'm hungry, and we were like, welcome back, I guess. Glad to see you're back, just as pushy as before. But anyways, I have outdoor cats, so they do not get bathed, because that would be doing them a massive disservice. But I do have some friends who have indoor cats, and every once in a while they'll be like, somebody laid down in her litter, so she's getting a bath. So I do know real life cats get baths, but I don't know if in The Sims they get baths. The Sims sometimes doesn't mess with some of that nuance because they don't want to give people the wrong idea, and I think that's wise. I don't think that is a bad choice at all, to make that sort of call. The New World has axolotls, and they've made it very clear to say, like, they're endangered, you shouldn't actually be keeping them, you know, you should be very mindful and be giving them back to the sanctuary, stuff like that. And I've really appreciated that they basically were like, this is a gameplay feature, please remember that this is a gameplay feature and not what you should be doing in real life. Okay, back to the build. We're working in the office right now. This could also be a bedroom. It is big enough that you could put a full-size bed, like a 2-person bed in here. But I went ahead and set it up as an office because I thought it made more sense to the story being told in this build right now. But it does give you some options. If you end up having a kiddo, you can move your office downstairs. There's plenty of room downstairs to put an office if you wanted an office, because the studio has enough space for a desk, but also there's a huge sort of entry area. I didn't really intend for it to be that big. I had sort of a different plan for it, and then I realized it wasn't going to work out, and that's fine. That happens. But it meant that there's lots of space to like design little places if you needed more space, and then you could have a room for your kiddo, or if you take in like a roommate because you want a little bit of that extra simoleon. I totally get it. A roommate would be really fun in this place too if you had like an artist's buddy or something like that. But I have it set up as an office for right now because I thought that made sense, because if you are running your own business, you would need to have some of that set up in real life. Here I'm doing my least favorite thing in the entire world and putting curtains in. We have beautiful curtains in this game, to clarify. I don't hate it because we don't have beautiful curtains. I hate it because it's just such a pain in the rear to get them to line up right, to get them to look right, to decide what curtains. There's a reason why the curtains in my real life bedroom are still the ones that the previous owners left, and then the cleaners just like deep cleaned for me, because I can't be bothered to fight with this. I do actually have a set of curtains that I brought with me from the previous place I lived that might be, actually I have two. They both might be really pretty in here. I feel like the blue ones wouldn't look right because my room is green. But the white ones might look nice. And I do think I need to solve it at some point because the bar recently fell off the wall, kind of. So they previous owners cemented the bar to the, like, it's some sort of like ridiculous tacky glue. The bar to the bits, so you can't take the bar off. So that's part of why I haven't changed it too. But I went to string some Christmas lights around it, and the actual like part that you screw into the wall to then put the bar on, the word is disappeared out of my brain. The like hook part, you know, the mounting hardware, there we go, that all like started to come out of the wall. So I'm like, the problem is I'm absolutely gonna have to go buy a whole new curtain rod. I'm gonna have to probably buy a whole new curtain rod, which is just not a world I want to live in right now. So I'm ignoring the problem until it comes down and scares me in the middle of the night. That's the plan. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. So, but it would be cool to maybe put curtains that aren't, because they're doilies. They're pretty. They're not really my vibe, but they're pretty. I put Christmas lights all over them to help. Which gives it a really lovely glow, but it also points out how incredibly dusty they are all of the time, because that's really hard to dust lace. It's incredibly hard to dust lace. Here I am doing my typical fill the space with plants, as many plants as humanly possible, and then a few more, just in case. I love this little turret. This would be such a good place to read, to enjoy, and when we were talking about it with my dad, because as I will remind you, this was a place that is inspired by a real place, my dad goes, oh, I was driving by in December, and whoever lives there put their Christmas tree in there, and I was like, oh, I bet that would be gorgeous. I bet it would be so pretty, and it would look so cute from the outside, because it would be snowing, and you'd see the Christmas tree through there. Stunning. So my Sims will be putting a Christmas tree in this corner when it comes time for that, and I will just put the furniture in the household inventory, and it'll be all fine. Here you can see I'm having some issues with moving things around. I'm having an issue with my mouse, and you might see this until I figure out what's going on with my mouse and keyboard. I can't tell. I kind of think it might be the port on the computer, but I'm having some pretty serious issues with like triple clicks, misclicks, it clicking when I'm not even touching the mouse, or not clicking when I've clicked. And with the keyboard, I'm having issues with it not typing, or typing like 8 of each letter, that kind of thing. And because they're both doing that simultaneously, and it's a wireless plug, it leads me to believe either the transmitter thingy is dying or the port is dying. So, and I'm a little bit worried it's the port, because my mic flipped out last time I had it in that port. So please excuse some of that that's going to be happening in the next few videos, because until I figure out what to do and potentially buy new things or something, I don't know. Occasionally you just get these like super wild misclicks, which is like frustrating enough when you're building and stuff, super ridiculously frustrating when you're editing. And as I found out recently, really annoying if you're playing a first-person shooter. So won't be playing those anytime soon. I don't actually play a lot of FPS. They're not really my thing. There is a little bit of clipping with the shelf, but I think I put enough on there that you won't notice it. But there is a little bit of clipping with that shelf, so you can always like readjust if you don't love the way that looks. But I liked the way that shelf looked, and I didn't mind the amount of hardware on the bottom. I didn't think it looked too bad. And I went pretty minimal with the cluttering because, again, we're going for a little bit more of like, I don't even know what you would call this vibe. I guess kind of just like a little bit more chic was kind of the hope here. So I didn't want to overly clutter things. And I imagine most things were going to be in the counters and cabinets and things because you have a ton of storage in this kitchen, which is great. So I went ahead and did that instead. I think I get rid of the coffee maker because I wanted to use the mixer. So I went ahead and put the mixer in. There's lots of cabinet space here. You could do all sorts of baking in this kitchen if you really wanted to, and I think that's fantastic. That's super exciting. So, and then I did put some stuff on the wall, even though it's brick, and like realistically that would probably suck, right? That would probably really blow. And I was gonna lean stuff against the window, but then I realized those windows are kind of inset and it looked kind of weird, so I didn't do that. You could also put stuff on top of the cabinets. That would look kind of cool. With the walls being as tall as they are, it's kind of hard to like figure out how to fill that space, you know? It was really hard to figure out how to not make everything look super stubby, but also make it like actually useful for the sim. Here I end up changing out that art. I think that mirror makes sense there. I'm a little mad I changed out that art though. You'll have to let me know what you think. I do end up putting it in here, I think, if I recall. Because I do really love those pieces. I think they're absolutely stunning pieces. If I'm remembering right, isn't that CC? Or not CC, but it's by a CC creator. Or was that, no, this is from the Modern Lux kit. So the whole kit was designed by a simmer. So dope. So dope. That is so cool. I love that they've been doing that. I love that so much. What would I do for a pack? I have no idea. That might be too much power. It's all wallpapers. It's literally just, no, you know what it would be? It would be all wallpapers and the new backsplash thing from Love Struck in 40,000 colors and a new set of pillows in 40,000 colors. Yeah, I think that's what it'd be. Oh my goodness. It would be that. It would be wallpapers and backsplashes and pillows. Yeah, absolutely, that's what it would be. Oh my goodness, that would be so funny. That would be so funny. Yeah, I think that's what it would be. Oh, and it would have, like, a new bookshelf and a ton of new book clutter. Because that's always what I reach for. Those are the things I use every time. And, like, a billion plants. I don't know what the theme of this would be. This is why they will never, well, that, and they absolutely should not contact me anyway. But this is why they would never contact me for a pack, because they'd be like, what do you want to do? All the things. All the things. Oh, you could do an artist pack too. Oh, or you could do a horse add-on pack. Okay. Yeah, this is why they'll never call me. Can you imagine a tack room kit, though? Can you imagine, like, it would have, like, bridles and reins, and there could be some gameplay elements, add some more things for the horses, and then people would complain because they'd say, but Amanda, that should be part of Horse Ranch, and I'd say, yes, but they didn't consult me on Horse Ranch, so now we just have to deal. Yeah. Could add ponies. They could add horse driving. Okay, nope, I need to stop. I need to stop. Now I'm thinking about that. So we're down in the studio now, and I really like this studio because it has windows out into the gallery, which means she can be working, or he or they can be working in here and still see when someone comes into the gallery. The people in the gallery could potentially watch. In real life, I would probably put curtains up or put some sort of, you know that stuff that they have now? It's like super expensive, but like where, you see it a lot in like bathrooms and stuff where like when it runs an electric current through it, or it doesn't run an electric current through it, depending how you set it up, it goes opaque. I would probably have something like that in there for the glass so that you could work in privacy if you didn't want to be a zoo exhibit. But I set it up so that you could also like sort of manage your gallery or have seminars or whatever through, like, people could come watch the glass was the idea. And I thought that was kind of a cool idea, and it kind of made sense because it kind of feels like warehouse space and then like maybe like manager's office or something. It got repurposed. This area is just an entry hall. I just decided it would be really cool to make this space look sort of like an apartment lobby, but it's just one place. But this is where I imagine she puts like, or she or he, where they put like all of the like art supplies that are coming in. Like you can see I had some boxes stacked over there. We tried to make it look like Amazon packages over here. And put some mail down, stuff like that, some magazines, just things that come in that just need to be sat down and dealt with. Like maybe they don't go up to the apartment, maybe they go in the studio, or maybe it needs to be moved from the studio to the apartment, but you're not going up to the apartment, you're heading out, so you just leave it on the thing, because this would all be locked, right? Like Sims couldn't come in here unless you invited them. And there is a half bath downstairs for users of the gallery, because if you're inviting Sims in to come look at your art, because those hanging things are selling things, I believe. So if you're inviting Sims in to come by your art, they're probably going to want to use the restroom and stuff. So I did go ahead and set that up as well. That's what we're working on in here. There's not much to it. It's just a half bath to keep Sims from traipsing up to your apartment. And again, you would probably lock the doors anyway. But I thought it's kind of a cool setup for an artsy Sim. If you're selling your art, it's kind of a cool storytelling element, even if you don't sell it with these tables. Very much, or not tables, what are these called? It's a very good question. I also went ahead, because I didn't want to put art on the walls, but the walls look kind of empty, I put these frames up that you can put your Sim's photography in. You could leave that and your Sim could be multi-talented, or you could take them down and put your art up on the walls, or you could take down the other doohickeys and put fake walls in, like half walls, and put more photos up and make it a photo studio and change the studio into a photo studio. That would be really cool. There's lots of options here. That's just how I chose to do the space. And I did very minimal decorating on the outside of this building. I did go with lots of blacks and stuff too. I didn't really talk about the outside of the building because I lost all that footage. I went very sort of dark and kind of like a little bit intense, because I imagine if they were fixing up the building, like I kind of imagine this building had like a lot of need to it, like it was pretty run down and stuff, so they just went with like darker blacks, painting the trim, keeping it very sort of industrial vibe, which is very reminiscent of the building in real life. It kind of sticks out a little bit in Copperdale, but really not that bad, because we're sort of on the end of town over here, and it does sort of look like this is where maybe like the storage buildings and stuff would be, so it works. I'm really happy with it. And there's also a mural on the outside that your Sim can paint if they're feeling particularly artsy. But anyways, guys, I think I'm gonna leave it here. I've been yapping at you for quite a while, and I took a phone call in the middle of it, so I've been yapping for even longer. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I really liked this build and how it turned out. It was kind of fun for just being on a whim. But yeah, anyways, I hope you're having a good day and you're feeling loved. If you're not feeling loved, please know that I love you. I'm glad you exist. I'm glad you're here hanging out. You make the world a better place and the Sims world a better place just by being you. I'll get you next time with some more Sims stuff next Friday, and on Monday, probably some Minecraft shenanigans if I get my way. Anyways, guys, love y'all. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye!